Hi everyone, Nancy here. Today is March 21, 2020. 2021. Let me get my watch. It is 6 minutes to 7 o'clock in the nighttime, and it's still very bright. It's still very bright, and it's very warm out here. I think it's around plus, I don't know, it feels like maybe like plus 12. Plus 12 that should be in US terms maybe 45 degrees, and there's no wind, there's no ice chill, so it's very warm. You can still feel, a little bit like a coolness in the air. If you're not wearing a jacket, you're gonna get cold. But if you're wearing a warm jacket, then you're fine. And the reason why I'm not talking too loud is because it's so quiet out here, and I don't want to disturb any neighbors if they're on their veranda. Yep. Yeah. I don't think I have much time. I don't think I have much time on my in my batteries because I forgot to recharge them yesterday or two days ago when I was recording. Yes, and I forgot to charge them up again. Well, guys, I was recording a video about the coronavirus, and my video got removed because they said that I was giving out false medical information, which is such a bunch of baloney. But you know how the world is, guys. The world as it is right now, they don't believe that, you can manage the virus in certain ways. They think that, like, they think that a lot of people that believe in the way that I do, it's nonsense. So, and they don't want videos like the one that I put out today, 2 days ago. They don't want those kinds of videos out there because they're paranoid. They're all heathens. Yep. Anyway, I don't know what I'm going to talk about, so I'm going to think about something. As my little cousin Annie used to say, I'm thinking in my brain. So I'm going to see. Well, I guess I'm going to see what I can talk about, but I did think about something just a few minutes earlier. When I was in grade 2, I was in class one day and I decided to make a joke. Well, it wasn't really a joke, but it was a really mean thing. So what I decided to do was to take one of this other girl's eraser and do something with it and then blame her for it. So what I did was I waited. I don't know. I guess I waited until she was like away from her desk. And then I went over to her desk and I grabbed her eraser and I bit it in half. And then I went to the teacher and I said, Miss, look what so-and-so did. And then the teacher, I don't remember whether she took the eraser from me. I don't know what she did, but I know that she did go and talk to that student in a private area of the class. Like, she took her to a corner, and I saw the teacher talking to that other child. And then the teacher walked over to me, and she grabbed the strap and she gave me the strap on the hand. And in my mind I was thinking, yeah, but I told the teacher that it was her, not me. And in my mind I'm like, how did I get in trouble for that? The teacher didn't see me. But guys, God made sure that the truth was revealed and that the right person got in trouble for it. So good for me. Boy, did that ever hurt, though. And yes, that's what happens when children behave so rotten and they try and do something nasty to another child. Yeah. And so that's what I did. And I didn't like it. Of course, back then I didn't like it, what happened, right? I got in big trouble for it and I got the strap. But that's what's going to happen, guys. If you're going to do something bad to somebody else, then it's going to come back to you. And even if you don't get in trouble for it right then, even if what you do gets the other person in trouble, God is going to make sure that you do get in trouble for it at some time later. Yep, that's how God works. So guys, whether we're little kids or big kids or, adults, and we're doing yucky things to people, thinking that we're going to get away with it, guess what? We might get away with it at first, but God was watching and He will make sure to get us back. Sometimes He allows, sometimes He will cause for whatever we did to that person, He will cause for us to be dealt with it right away. Like I was dealt with what I did to that girl with the eraser right away. And other times, God allows that bad thing that we did, He allows a lot of time to pass so that we can correct it and not get in trouble for it. Yeah, God works like that. Sometimes, actually I would say a lot of the times He does that. He lets us, He gives us a lot of time to correct our behavior, to make things right, to apologize to the person. And if we can't find the person, then we just apologize to God, and God makes that situation right. Yeah, that's how He works. He won't expose anybody for anything bad if we correct ourselves. And if we don't do it, then the time will come when He will. Yes, I've experienced seeing people being disciplined for bad things that they did to me, I've experienced that, and it's very, the humiliation that the person goes through, the shame and the embarrassment, it's really intense. It's very, hold on a minute. I think there are some people, hold on. Well, I was just looking behind me because I can smell, like somebody's doing firewood or whatever. Because some people in their backyards over here, they do that. And if it's happening, I don't see it. I don't know where they are. Anyway, that's okay. Yeah, guys, so I've seen God's justice, Yes, that's another thing, guys. Whenever people do bad things to us, we cannot take vengeance. We can't do vengeance, no. Because that's evil. That shows us where we are in our hearts. That's why God says in the Bible, vengeance is mine, I will repay. And the way He does it, guys, it's far better than anything that we could think of. Because whatever we could think of messes up the lesson that God wants to do to that person. It does. Because if God's involved in it, right, His divine DNA is involved in it, so that means His justice will be perfect, and the perfect lesson will come out in that situation for the person who did that bad thing to you or your family, or your pet, or your home, or your property. Yes. And guys, forgive me if my batteries run out, okay? While I'm talking, I'll try and come back and continue on. Yeah. So we have to be very careful, guys, when people do bad things to us, not to do vengeance, because like I said, I have witnessed it several times. Oh boy, guys, it is really, really, like you feel very uncomfortable and awkward for that person that God is doing justice, like the person that God is giving you justice for, right? I mean, you know what I mean. Like God is doing justice for you because of whatever other people did to you. And when you witness it, when you see it happening in before your eyes, you feel very uncomfortable and you feel very awkward, and it's like you want to jump out of your skin and run away, because even though they did that bad thing to you, you don't feel good about what is happening to them. Although you're not in your heart, you're not saying that you're not saying, I wish God was not punishing them. That's not what you're saying. What you're saying is, yes, I'm happy this is happening because this person did a bad thing, and things needed to be made right. Right? So what I'm trying to explain is what you're going through when you are seeing God do justice for you in front of your eyes. It's just very uncomfortable because you have forgiveness in your heart, and you feel bad for them because now they're being dealt with in a very harsh manner, and perhaps you didn't want for that person to feel so ashamed and embarrassed, right? But the thing is, it needed to happen because of how they treated you or your loved one, or any kind of offense, because of the offense that they committed against you, right? Whether it was against you or someone that you love or your family, friends, or something that has to do with you. Yes. But some of you are thinking, no way, I'd be really happy and I'd be overjoyed. I would be overjoyed and jumping and doing backflips and all kinds of stuff and doing cheerleading and going, yee-haw, yeah. No, that's wrong. If you have that attitude, guess what? If you show that attitude to God, not that he didn't know you weren't going to do it, because he knows everything, but if you show that kind of an attitude in your heart, God is not going to do justice. He's not going to do justice for you the next time, because he doesn't want you to be happy about what's happening to that person. He's trying to show you that he cares about the harm that is caused unto you, and that he's going to take care of it. And he wants to show you that, yes, look, I do take care of my children. I do promise to make things right for you because of the way they hurt you. But I don't want you to rejoice, because rejoicing means you have darkness in your heart. That's not where my vengeance is coming from. My vengeance is coming from showing you that I'm going to deal with people who hurt you because it's the right thing to do. Just like a parent disciplines their child, okay, because of the harm that they cause to another child or somebody else, right? That's what God is trying to show you. He wants to show you that he's going to make things right. He's going to correct things and discipline that child for what they did, right? To teach them a lesson. Okay, so don't rejoice. Don't do that, because that shows a immaturity. Don't do that. That one time when I was watching that person getting disciplined in front of me because of some harm that they did to me, you guys, I felt so bad for them. I felt really bad, but at the same time, in my head, I was thinking to myself, this is what I was thinking. Oh, wow, this is so embarrassing for that person. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I want to get out of here, but I can't get out of here because it's freezing outside. Guys, it was around minus, with the wind, around 25. Okay, with the wind, it felt like minus 25 outside, right? So even though my coat is for minus 30, but I didn't want to go out there, right? Because I just didn't want to go out there, right? So it's cold. But the person that was being dealt with, because I was at this place where I used to volunteer, right? And the person that was being dealt with was a person who worked there, and they really got guys, they got destroyed. They got torn to shreds. They got completely, the word is annihilated. They were left on the floor in 100 million pieces, and they could not pick themselves back up to put themselves together again. They couldn't. They were completely diminished. They were walking around deflated. Okay, and what happened was they had a habit of talking really horrendous things about me to other people, and sometimes in front of me, but they weren't aware that I was there. And they had a habit of doing this kind of thing to me all the time. And also, they also had a habit of tearing people to shreds with their tongue. Okay, they did it to I've seen this person I've seen this person, the way they behave, right? It, it was so uncalled for, their behavior, the way they were treating other people that were volunteering there. So that they got dealt with by a person that they had been harassing, right? And this person was a volunteer. And this supervisor came out, and the supervisor was completely beside themselves because it's like they had never seen this one volunteer express themselves this way. Okay, this volunteer, they dealt with the person who was harassing me and them. They dealt with them in, like I said, in all those words that I mentioned about how they were destroyed, and they were left in a million pieces on the floor. Okay, this is how that volunteer dealt with them. They couldn't take it anymore, and they blew up. Okay, but that was God's justice. Now, this volunteer wasn't being rude or arrogant or belligerent or nasty or they weren't being disrespectful. No, they were very educated in the way they were dealing with this person. They were very, very respectful, but it was in the way that they dealt with this person that really left them in a horrendous state emotionally because of the way that they had been treating them, myself, and others for a long time, guys. Okay, a long time. This one person who was harassing us, they had been doing this for a long time, and each time that they would talk bad about me, I wouldn't say anything, right? I wanted to say something, but I would hear the Lord saying, Nancy, don't say anything. Don't say anything. They were, ooh, guys, they had a tongue that would give you third-degree burns. Okay, that's how bad it was. And so God dealt with them accordingly, right? And when I was standing there watching all this happening to this person, like I said, a supervisor came out, and they were trying to calm down this other volunteer. But that volunteer, they didn't want to hear it. They were saying, nope, this is the way things are, and this is how I'm going to deal with it, and that's that. And that supervisor backed down. But they were still trying to calm them down as best they could, because that volunteer was, they did not want to be comforted. They didn't want anybody trying to tell them, just calm down, we can work this out and all that. No, she or he didn't want to hear it. They didn't want to hear it. And I don't blame them. And like I said, in my head, I was feeling really bad for that worker who was getting torn to shreds by that volunteer. I was so uncomfortable. I wanted to get out of there. But at the same time, in my heart, I was talking to God. I said, Lord, this is the justice that I knew that you were going to do for me, only I didn't know it was going to happen this way. And I was saying to the Lord, I want to get out of here. I don't want to see this. I feel very uncomfortable, but I'm not leaving because it's freezing outside. And so you see, guys, God allows justice to happen for you in front of your face. I wasn't going to leave that area because it was too cold outside. I could have, but I just didn't want to go out into the cold. Even though I would have been nice and toasty warm based on what I was wearing. I was very warm, but I still didn't want to be out there because it was just, I don't want to stand out there in minus 25 weather. Right? So I didn't want to leave, and that allowed God the opportunity to do justice for me in a place where that worker didn't have any other place to go. They had to stay right there. And ooh, guys, the composure of that worker, their face, guys, they didn't even know what to say. They were so speechless. And the thing is, what the other volunteer was upset about was something that that worker could not, they couldn't dispute it or refute it. You know what I mean? Like they couldn't say, no, it didn't happen this way, because there was, like, that worker knew what they had done, and they couldn't refute that. You know, the volunteer worker was completely just, they had had enough, and they blew up, and nothing consoled them, nothing. They made all kinds of threats, and the supervisor heard that. Like, by the time the supervisor came out, right, trying to console the supervisor came out trying to console that one volunteer. It was a few minutes after that the volunteer started making threats. You know, and the supervisor was like, well, we don't have to handle it this way. You know, it's, people make mistakes, but the volunteer wouldn't hear of it. He didn't care about mistakes because that worker knew right from wrong. Right? And guys, I had already been there for a long time, putting up with that one worker's behavior. You know, so, but I was happy, guys. I was happy that they got dealt with the way that they did, because they were being dealt with in that way in front of another person that they were also being nasty to. Do you understand how much pressure that is on a person who was, you know, who God is dealing with at the time? God was giving me divine justice, and he was also giving that other volunteer divine justice. You know, so that's a lot of pressure to be dealt with by God, or to have to be dealt with for being a bad person in front of two people that you were being nasty to. You know what I mean? It's a very, very heavy price, right? But the thing is, that was their punishment because of what they were doing with their tongue. Remember, guys, what God says in the Bible, like how our tongues have the power to give life and the power to give death, right? Like our tongues kill, and our tongues can give life. So that worker was using their tongue to kill people, to destroy, to wound, and it was uncalled for. So then they got dealt with accordingly. And guess what? They never did it again after that. I never heard that worker talking bad about me, at least not in front of me. I didn't hear it anymore. And then they changed their attitude about the way they were treating that one volunteer. That one volunteer was also threatening to quit, and companies can't afford to lose their volunteers. Depending on what they're needing them for, they can't afford that. You know, so they need to value their volunteers and learn to respect what they have, because people who volunteer, they don't have to be there. They don't have to be there. They can be at home, or they could be somewhere else volunteering. So, well, I guess, guys, this video turned out to be a topic about God's divine justice. Yeah. Thank you, Father. Because I really didn't know what I was going to talk about. And it all started with my little story of when I did a wretched thing to that other kid. Yes, so that wasn't nice, what I did. But yeah, guys, one thing though, that worker, they didn't change. As a person, they did not change. They only stopped bothering me and bothering that other volunteer. But the person that they were before they got dealt with, they did not change. They remained the same. So, but that's their problem, because for as long as they remain that way, God will continue to deal with them publicly. You know, they didn't want to change, you know, so then, you know, by the time they got dealt with, by that one volunteer. God dealt with them publicly, and yeah. And like I said, I was happy that it was happening only because a correction was being made. I wasn't overjoyed or rejoicing and jumping inside myself and saying, "Yay, yay, I want some lollipops and ice cream. Now let's have a party." Yeah. No. Like I said, I was very uncomfortable, but I was very happy that it was happening because I wanted for God to deal with them because they were so wrong, guys. You can't possibly be, happy about destroying other people with your words and still be able to go to sleep at night with peace in your mind and in your heart. That's a crooked person. So God dealt with them. So guys, according to my camera, I have 25 minutes left. I'm going to end here. And I was going to say, if you guys have been hurt, well, I'm sure many people, everyone that's listening to this has been hurt. So if you have been hurt by someone and you are desiring, if you want to take vengeance out on them, please don't do it, because God's going to deal with you, and He will not give you divine justice. He won't do it. He will not deal with people who hurt you or your family or your pets or your property. He won't deal with them as long as you have unforgiveness and the desire to take vengeance on yourself, on them. He won't do it. He's not going to approve of your behavior. He won't do it. No, he won't do it. So that's why you have to have forgiveness and remove the desire to want to take vengeance. Take it out. Say, Lord, please, I forgive and please do divine justice for me. Do like that. And He'll do it. Okay, guys? Okay, guys, so I'm going to leave now, and I think you can hear some people, some little kids, they're behind me somewhere in backyards, or maybe there's a little playground behind here. Yeah, so, what is that? Oh, okay, I'm just looking at some roofs, and I thought I saw like a raccoon, but it's just a tuberia, like tubes or whatever. Yes, I think they're drainage pipes or whatever. Anyway, guys, thanks for coming. Don't forget to subscribe and then click on the bell so that you will be notified for each time that I upload a video. Okay, guys, so if you click on the bell, you will be notified for each time that I upload a video. And let me know what's going on in your life. Okay, guys, muchas gracias por venir. Thank you very much for coming. Los adoro. I adore everybody. Los quiero a todo mundo. I love everybody. Y sus mascotas, sus familias, and your pets and your families. And I love you very much, guys, and thank you so much for supporting my channel. God bless you, okay? Que hasta mañana. Good night. Ciao, ciao.